going on in your life right now that's challenging, painful. It's just a reminder to take a little bit better care of yourself. You're worth it. You can have this feeling anytime you choose.
What is good, fellas? Now, with the black Skyline all done and dusted, all bloody wrapped up and off to its new owner, who I see is actually driving around on the street, pretty loose in itself, but good on him. We are now hooking straight back into the red Skyline. So the one bloody ride or die main girl, whatever you want to call it, the one that's bleed me dry of every single cent I've owned over the last few years. But that's totally fine. So as we wait for the new motor to turn up, I have decided to go through and paint the engine bay properly and take the skills that I learnt from the black Skyline and pretty much apply it to this. So today I thought I'd just go through and show you guys the process that I have taken and pretty much show you that it's really not that hard at all. When you've got the right gun and you've got the right skills and a bloody good attitude, anything is possible. Because before this, or before I sort of got into this paint world, I had absolutely no idea what I was doing. Now, I still don't really, but to me, has turned out pretty good. So, I mean, you can't really argue with that. Looks pretty good from my house anyway, so. So to begin the process, we just stripped it all right down. Pretty much did all the boring stuff, all the obvious things that you think you'd do. Basically take all the loom out, take all the accessories out, get rid of every single thing that you can out of the bay. It is a little bit of a painful process. I've seen some people do it, take the shortcut route and leave a lot of shit in there, but just never comes out that nice. So went through, took everything out, just got rid of all the shit that you don't really want in there, and even took the time to grind out the factory battery bracket supports. I've seen it done a few times and it just looks so much better once it's not in there. And then pretty much just give it a bloody good pressure wash. So just get in there with the water blaster. I'm sure you could do it with like soap suds and the hose if you didn't have one handy. But just go to town with that. Get as much of that crap out as you can. Give it a good clean. All the grease, all the parts that you think might be troublesome later, just get in there and give it a bloody good scrub. And then once you've done that, you just want to go through with the orbital sander. At least the way that I did it. You could probably do it by hand, might take a hell of a lot longer time, but just get in there with that and take off all the rough edges and get in all the nooks and crannies and all the places that are really annoying, but it does kind of pay off in the end. So once you've done that, you want to go through with a good primer. Just give it a good coat of primer, get as many places as you can, give it as good a coat as you can, I should say. Then after that, we started getting into the painting. So I just started with a good 2 coats of the base coat. I just went with the factory AH3 red, which is the factory color of the car. And then I went through and did the glitter flake. So this was a pretty controversial thing to be doing. I feel like in this day and age, people are either into it or they're not. Personally, I'm a big fan. And I went for a little something different this time. I went for the gold flake. So I was kind of looking for something that a little bit harlequin, a little bit color changing, and that was the closest thing that I could come up with. So I'm really stoked with how it came out. I just wanted to do something a little bit different than a typical silver flake. And then there's obviously a million other colors, but I'm staying pretty firm with the red theme of the whole thing. So that's what I went for, and I reckon it looks pretty damn sick. So after you've done your base coats and you've done your flake, you just want to go through with a really high quality clear coat and you are good to go. So I thought I'd just do a quick little run through of the products I did use. Again, there is a million products out there that you can go for, but these are the ones that I went with and kind of the ratios that I use with thinners and a few other things. So I started off with an etch primer, and that was mostly just because when you are painting an engine bay, there's a lot of rough edges and you can easily rub through into bare metal. So this is really good for sealing those kind of spots. And I ended up just doing the whole lot in that as well. Always had really good luck with it. The paint attaches to it quite nicely. And then this is our base coat that we went with. So again, AH3, that is a 1-to-1 thinner ratio with that. 2 good coats of that. I used 500 mils for everything, so that's probably a little bit overboard, but there is a lot of wastage when you are doing your accessories and things like that. And then I went with this guy here, which is kind of like a binder, which also comes out as a clear coat, which is what you mix in your flake with. So I said that it was kind of harlequin colored. It's actually a gold flame, and it's clearly quite gold. It did look like it had a few other colors in there when I was looking at it at the shop, but yeah, that's whatever. That's what we did with our flake. And then moving on to the clear coat. Now this is I think it's like a 4-to-1 ratio or like a 2-to-1, I can't remember. But this is essentially pretty high quality, but it's what the shop had. It's kind of expensive, but it yeah, obviously has amazing results. And now this little puppy, I thought this was a honorable mention. Now a lot of people don't run these at the end of their sort of airline, but I kind of was having a lot of trouble with getting a consistent pressure. So this is essentially after your airline has finished. You've come all through here. I run a pretty hectic setup there. That's just what I ended up with, this double rigs for whatever reason. Initially I went with a water trap there, thinking that was gonna solve all the water issues, but I was still getting water out of the end of the gun. So after all your line, you come through and then you click this on and that goes straight to your gun. So this is kind of like a double water trap and a rig that just provides you a consistent pressure, and you know exactly what you're going to be getting straight off the gun. So there you have it, fellas. That is basically a crash course on how to paint an engine bay on the cheap. So we have also painted all the accessories as I mentioned. So we went through and did the bonnet latch assembly, and we've done the radiator support, done the brake booster. I've also done the quick release radiator support brackets. A lot of you will know when you're pulling motors in and out of these things a lot, this bit gets in the way pretty damn quick. So I grinded that out a long time ago. And then we also did these new, well not so new, but R31 covers that I've had lying around for a little while. So I was super stoked to get these actually. Got them for a steal off Yahoo auctions in Japan. Far less than what people are paying for them these days, but just got to keep your eye out. And I have gone through on one side and highlighted the fins. Now, I'm a little bit on the edge of not too sure if I was into it at the beginning, but looking at it now compared to the other one, I definitely think I'm sold. So I'm pretty bloody stoked with how those puppies came out as well. And now we pretty much wait for the motor to turn up. So we've got literally everything I think that we need. We've got our turbo, we've got our manifold. Oh, we do have an intake manifold on the way that's coming from Australia soon, but we'll speak more about that when it comes. I am holding off on putting everything back into the engine bay at this stage because I'm going to send all the hardware away to a friend up in Auckland, and he's going to zinc coat everything. So she's going to be pretty damn shiny. Once you get to this point with a build and you start to do things nice, I feel like it's the classic case of a rabbit hole, and you think, oh well shit, I might as well carry on and do everything else. So I put a wiper motor back in temporarily, and I took it out straight away. I just thought, nah, that looks rubbish. So we've gone ahead and we've got to polish that up as well. I don't even know if it looks much better, but I think it will look pretty cool. Obviously painted the motor cowling itself, so this should look pretty damn cool once it's in there. I don't think I've ever seen a wiper motor that's been polished, so that should look pretty sharp. I haven't gone through and cleaned up the J-arms and these kind of front steering components. They're just going to get covered in shit. These bad boys here, these are my Keto cut and shut knuckles that I painted a spray can purple many moons ago. They can stay, they'll be fine. I did, however, paint the subframe because that's a pretty sort of, what would you call it? Pretty main star of the show once you get it in there and it doesn't have a motor. So gave that a lick of paint as well with some high gloss finish in black that we did the project car in. And that would be pretty much all she wrote for this one, fellas. I hope you've enjoyed watching me go through the process of painting the bay and taking a little bit more care in painting everything else. Turns out maybe painting a car under a tree, not the best idea, But as you can see, you do get the results when you put the effort in. So thanks for watching, guys, and I'll catch you next time. Cheers.